Hi there, my name is Chef Padro. I'm from Puerto Rico and I'm a culinary specialist here at CREA. The dish I will be presenting today will be a chocolate raspberry peanut canele, which I presented in the Trophy du Passion last year in the international competition in Paris, France. I would love to thank our sponsors Cacao Berry, CREA, Fortesa, and ACF. We'd love to invite you to our 3-day Sous Vide in-person course here at CREA. Our 3 dates are February 27 through March 1st, April 18 through the 20th, and July 10th through the 12th in Dallas, Texas. So now we're going to be moving on to our Canele Batter. We're going to start by bringing some ingredients to a boil. So let's turn on our control freak. Let's set it to a simmer setting. Here I have some sugar. We always start by putting the sugar on the bottom when we're heating ingredients that have milk so that the milk doesn't scorch. And here we have 50-50 combination of normal milk and milk cryo concentration taken up 3 levels. So milk cryo C3. This was our secret ingredient in the competition in Paris. It brought a lot of flavor into our Canele batter since we concentrated through the cold method to keep that casein and the flavors of the milk. So it's a very concentrated flavor. If you cannot make cryo concentration at home, you can also use cream, 36 to 40% fat. And if you want to learn how to make cryo concentration, CREA also offers, apart from the sous vide courses, cryo concentration courses. So let's pour this over here. Here. Now we add our butter and our salt. And we're gonna let this come to a boil. So now that our cream mixture has come to a boil, we're gonna pour it over our dark chocolate. Thank you, Cacao Berry, for providing us with a beautiful dark chocolate, 70%. So we're gonna pour. And this will help melt the chocolate, just make it easier for us. Over here. So now that we've let the chocolate sit with the cream for about a minute, it should be all melted. We're gonna go ahead with the immersion blender. After that's blended, we're gonna add our bourbon, our AP flour, and our egg mixture. So. And now that everything is emulsified, we're gonna put it in the fridge so that we can get it below 6 Celsius so that we can compress it in the vacuum chamber. So now that our Canele batter has chilled below 6 Celsius, we're gonna put it in the chamber to hydrate the batter. So usually Caneles have to age around 3, 4, up to 7 days. But our trick here with the hydration helps us to make Caneles in under 2 hours. So we're gonna do 5 setting. And this we're gonna press around 5 times or so until we make sure that it's really hydrated. So you will see bubbles start to come up. This is the oxygen coming out of the mixture, and it's gonna allow that bourbon, the flour, the fat to really hydrate and come together in the batter. We're gonna start our peanut whipped ganache now. So we're gonna start with cream. This is the base of our recipe. And we want this, we want to bring this to a boil just because we wanna melt the chocolate and emulsify the peanut butter in there too. So let's turn on our control freak, set it to simmer, and we wait. So now that our cream has come to a boil, we're gonna pour our chocolate to our bain-marie pot. And this is a 50-50 ratio of milk chocolate and dark chocolate. Again, thank you, Cacao Berry. We're gonna turn off our control freak. Pour our cream in there to make sure that our chocolate is melted. Very simple. We're gonna add also our peanut butter in there. And for this, you definitely want to use creamy peanut butter. Chunky peanut butter will definitely inhibit the whipped effect of it. We're gonna add our salt. And finally, we're gonna be adding our gelatin. It's really important that you bloom your gelatin overnight. We want it to absorb 3 times its weight of water. So we're gonna put it in there. And this is what's gonna help us be able to whip our ganache. And we start. So now that we have our ganache mixture blended, we're gonna put it in the fridge overnight to let that gelatin really coagulate the fat in there. And it's important not to move it. Why? Because we're trying to create a structure. So if you disturb it, it'll break that structure and the whipping effect will not work. So let's put it in the fridge. So here we have our peanut ganache already set overnight. As you can see, it has a smooth texture, very fluffy. And we're gonna put it in our mixer to whip. It's really important that when you take it out, it's fresh out of the fridge. We want it as cold as possible so that gelatin can really put its work in there, right? So we're gonna put that in. And we're gonna set the whipping attachment. We are gonna whip it as high as we can to really create that aeration effect in our ganache. So now we're gonna be starting our brittle. We're gonna start with pouring our water and light corn syrup first. The corn syrup ratio with the sugar that we're also gonna be adding, it's gonna be a 50-50 ratio. That's usually the rule. And the water is in there just to avoid crystallization. We're gonna start our Brittle control freak, which is gonna also help us reach our temperature thanks to the precision temperature probe that it includes. We're gonna set it to 155 just to achieve that hard crack stage with the sugar. And since it's a brittle recipe, we're gonna be adding butter. So this is gonna be our fat. And what's really important about when you add sugar, water, and fat is that you always need to keep stirring. Very important, as the fat can burn. So now that our temperature, we have reached hard crack stage, which we have been reading with our control freak probe. We're gonna turn it off to avoid the sugar cooking more than it needs to cook. And we're gonna be adding our peanut butter. This is a peanut brittle. Love peanut butter. Get it all in there. I prefer to use creamy peanut butter, but you can also use chunky peanut butter. We add our salt. We're gonna make sure that this is incorporated before we add the rest of our ingredients. You can see how silky that is, very smooth. So we mix. And we're gonna add the most important ingredient in our brittle, which is the baking soda. This is gonna give it that air that it needs, that leavening. But once we add it, we need to be very careful not to be too harsh with it, because we're gonna be folding our peanuts after. So just a little bit. We're gonna throw in our peanuts in there, roasted and chopped, whatever you like best. And once this is all folded, as you can see, I'm folding it very gently. It's important to take our time with this. I'm going to take out our probe so we can dump. Put it all in one corner to make it easier for us. And we're going to walk over here and dump our brittle very gently, so that we don't ruin the effect of the baking soda in the brittle, which is our most important ingredient. This is good. And now we will let it cool for a little before we go into the chamber. Why? Because it's a little bit dangerous to put hot things in the chamber. So we're gonna give it about 2 minutes, flip it, and 2 minutes more. So now we're moving on to the vacuum chamber. This is our multi-vac. Shout out to multi-vac for giving us settings for this recipe. I'm gonna put it in here, and again, it's really important that it's not super hot. This is because of the condensation. It can go into the filter, it can damage the machine. So we touch it, it's warm to the touch but not super hot. We set it on to our setting 6, which we set thanks to multi-vac, and we're gonna close. As you can see, the brittle is gonna start aerating, it's gonna start growing. So now that our vacuum chamber has finished with our aerated peanut brittle, we're gonna take it out. As you can see, this is the final product that we've achieved. We're gonna take it out. This is what we have. And I'm just gonna cut it just so that you guys can see the product that we've achieved. So look at that. Very aerated, melts in your mouth, dissolves, very tasty. So now we're gonna start our raspberry gel. Over here we have our back clip stand. This you can get on Amazon, it's really easy to find. And this is our cryovac bag. These you can get through us, CREA. What's really important about using a stand and a clip is so that we don't fold the plastic, as it can really affect the sealing efficacy of the plastic. So we're gonna pour our raspberries in here. And we do it sous vide method because it really captures the aromatic and volatile compounds of the raspberries. So we really finish with a very aromatic, flavorful product. Here we're gonna pour our bourbon and our raspberry juice, just to give it a little pump of flavor. And before sealing, we're gonna chill this so that we can keep the structure of the raspberries and really extract the most flavor out. Now that our raspberries have chilled, we're gonna be sealing them. We have a special setting for fruits and vegetables, which you can learn in our CREA course. Seal. So this is the final result of our compression on the raspberries in the bag. So as you can see, you have your raspberries, you have your liquid, and we're gonna be cooking this sous vide. We're gonna teach you guys how to temper chocolate in the sous vide method. So here I have my dark chocolate, 70%, in my cryovac bag, and I am going to seal it. Setting 1. So this is the final product where we can start our chocolate tempering, and we're gonna take it to the bath now. So now we're gonna start our tempering process. We're gonna start by putting our chocolate at 48 Celsius for 15 minutes or so. It's very important that we agitate the bag every 5 minutes so that we can really inhibit the creation of bad crystals. So the type of crystal we want in our chocolate is type 5, and that's what we're gonna achieve with the agitation. Now, up next, we're gonna put in our raspberries to macerate, and this we're gonna put at 63 Celsius for about 2 hours or so. So now that our chocolate is melted and it's been at 48 Celsius for 15 minutes, we're gonna take out our lid, massage it a little bit for the next stage. So agitate, and now we want to set our temperature to 26 Celsius. So to do that, we started at 48. So the easy trick you can do at home is just put ice in the water to lower the temperature quickly. So we're gonna put ice in the water, put it back, set the temperature, and we're ready to go. This is gonna go for another 15 minutes or so. And again, keep agitating every 5 minutes to ensure that the crystals are being formed. So after 15 minutes on 26 Celsius, we're gonna put the circulator up to a 30 Celsius. This will get rid of the type 3 and 4 crystals in the chocolate, which inhibit the glossiness and the texture the chocolate's supposed to have. So right here we have our chocolate already tempered. So we take this out, and ideally you just start tabling the chocolate. It's already tempered, you don't need to mix it with anything else. Just pour it onto a bowl, slab it, cut, and here you can see an example of a decoration that I already made. As you can see, it's already, you know, tempered, ready to go. So now that it's been 2 hours since our raspberries were macerated, we are gonna cut the bag open. And we're gonna start straining our berries. So now that our raspberries have been strained, we have the super concentrated raspberry liquid. As I said before, in the sous vide system, there's nowhere for the vapors and volatile compounds to escape. So all of the flavor and the aroma of the raspberries and the bourbon that we put in there is concentrated in here. So to make it a gel, we're gonna use Ultratex 3. So you just put it in there. And with an immersion blender, we blend. So for baking our caneles, now that we have the batter already hydrated and aged, we're gonna heat up our canele molds at 190 Celsius for about 5 minutes, just to make sure that the fat is hot. We've sprayed it down a little bit with fat, actually a lot of fat. It's important to have a lot of fat in caneles. And we're gonna put it in the oven for 5 minutes and then we'll fill them. So now that our canele molds are hot and the fat is also hot, we're gonna start pouring into the mold. Very important to hear that sizzling. And we're gonna do about that line. As you can see, these molds have a little crown on the top, and it's really important to leave that space so that the canele can rise, okay? That's good. So the caneles have been baked. We baked them for approximately 10 to 15 minutes at 190 Celsius, and then we lowered the temperature down to 170 for about 30 to 35 minutes. So let's see the result. And here we are, our little chocolate caneles, which have been baked and are ready to decorate.